And I have a text question from my parents in Kentucky.
Wait, wait, you got a text question from your science teacher from Kentucky?
Parents from Kentucky. And they
Parents.
loved you.
Your parents love you.
They
Therefore, by extension, you love them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might say it's in the DNA or the RNA. And we know the difference, don't we?
They would like to know, what about Star Trek changed your thinking or liked the most?
What about Star Trek? What do I like the most?
What about Star Trek changed your thinking or liked the most? Your involvement in Star Trek, the franchise, or as an actor?
What about Star Trek that I like the most?
Changed your
Is that
life. Changed
I
your
can't make it that
thinking.
word. I'm getting Teamster. That can't be. What's that word?
Changed.
What changed my life the most
What
about Star Trek? Have I got it? If it weren't for Star Trek, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be somewhere else, and that's changed my life completely. Old Town Sacramento is a place you've got to come and see. That's pandering, and that won't happen.
Come to Midtown.
What's changed my life the most? My goodness. I was popular when Star Trek was on the air, and then it went off the air, and due to a number of personal reasons, and some of you have read about this, know that I didn't have any money, and I was totally broke after Star Trek, and I had to start again, and work my way back into whatever, and it was a struggle. But because Star Trek gave me a popularity, which we call celebrity, I had this thing called celebrity, which then was useful to get me other things that finally resulted in my being here this afternoon and entertaining you and having a good time with you. So that Star Trek has changed my life completely. Okay?
Thank you.
A little bit closer, the glare of the lights. Got it clear. Oh. From way back there. How old are you? You're 27? 23. So you've got 23-year-old eyes. So you'd be able to see that from here, even though the glare of the lights, you'd be able to. I can hardly see you. So I got a couple more minutes. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time. Next question.
Hi, there's actually another text question, and it's from my dad. He asked,
But it's great. I mean, we're using the latest in science. Somewhere in the dim country of 5,000 miles away, there's a guy typing to his daughter saying, ask him. So we're getting a question from a man that we don't know. Doesn't exist as far as we're concerned. But it's flesh and blood to her. And he's about to ask me a question, and we don't know what he looks like. Ask me the question.
he asks if you have any plans for Danny Crane, the awesome conservative dude on Boston Legal.
I did Boston Legal for 5 years, and it was really one of the better experiences of my life. I worked with great people, James Spader, James Bergen, and Renee Aubergenois, and even that's the best name I've ever heard. I want to acquire that name. From here on in, I want to be Renee Aubergenois. And Renee will have to go back. He lives on a mountain. He'll have to go back up to the mountain. So I really enjoyed the experience. I won some awards. I got some things. It was great. And I live in the San Fernando Valley. And the studio was way below LAX. So those of you who've been to Los Angeles know that when you go up the 405, first of all, you got to get there. So early in the morning. Then you got to get back. If my call was before 5 o'clock in the morning, I could make it all right. If my release when I was out of the studio after 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, I was okay. But if my call happened anywhere in between that, it was a 2-hour commute. So that began to pray 2 hours each way. So that's a 4-hour commute. And I know many of you do the same thing, have long commutes. It is the most trying thing known to man. That locked up traffic is just debilitating. So when the show was over, I was both enormously, I was in grief because it was such a good show, and I loved so many people on it, the great writers that we had. But there was an element of a sigh of relief, especially when the following year or two, I did a comedy at Warner Brothers, and I could ride a bike to the studio from my house. And unfortunately, that show was canceled after a year, but that's a condition, really, from now on. I'm not going down below LAX ever again. That's one of the things I've been to. Anyway, so doing Boston Legal was great fun, and again, brought me a certain amount of celebrity. Listen, everybody, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so sad to leave you. I'm supposed to go, but upon request, I'm going to go down and be at my autograph thing, and I'll sign some autographs for a short while. If any of you want to come by, I'd be delighted to sign some. Thank you very much.